Love is when you'll put somebody on a pedestal. You put somebody before you. I feel like that's when you know you love a person. You'll put whatever they have going on in front of you to make them happy, even if it don't make you happy. I feel like that's what love is.
This is so much facts. Straight men don't like women. End of story. That is the biggest fact I've ever heard. And we all know that to be true. We all know that. Men hate women. Are you kidding me?
Because men don't even like women. And it shows. It shows in their opinions. It shows in how they operate. It shows in how they talk with their friends. It shows that a lot of times men just go for women because that is the right thing to do. That is what we are taught up on. But a lot of men don't even really like women because you don't respect them. You don't see their worth. You don't understand them. You don't try to understand them. The only time a black man is able to actually respect a black woman is if it comes from trauma, is if she's putting money on his books, is if she's holding it down. That's the only time he's able to understand her, or if she's crying. But a lot of times when it comes down to black men, they do not really respect black women. They do not really appreciate black women. So you can't really, and I didn't even talk about shoot. Yeah. I'm directing it to him, so you can't really say pick me, because what it is as a gay black man, and I'm not even sexually attracted to them, I respect them and I honor them and I understand that they make it happen.
But you can't
a lot of y'all thoughts and opinions, y'all do not.
You cannot say that because you don't know the emotional shit that we go through because we actually been in love with women.
Welcome back to the channel. And I think the concept here today is why men don't like women and they see them as tools. One of the things that you guys know from watching my channel is that no matter how you feel about a subject, you can probably find some media out there that will actually verify it. You know, we live in a world where there's so much stuff out there that you can probably find at least one or two things to back up almost anything. You know, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to literally prove, you know, that the sky is red, I could probably go out and find several videos of sunsets and sunrises where this, you know, sky is actually red, and then make my argument that at least at 2 times of the day, we can actually see that it's red. And I'm telling y'all it's red because, you know, because twice a day we get to see that. And I think that we have to rethink a lot of these things, you know, and a lot of the narratives. And one of the things that I'm always encouraging you all that watch me is to make sure that you're using your mind to really consider everything. And then also consider the person's perspective and the person's agenda of what they're actually trying to show. Now, in the people that we saw at the very beginning, and you had the different people saying, hey, you know, men don't like women. They don't respect women. You know, you had the one lady that was pointing up and saying, hey, straight men do not like, you know, women. And then you had the very first guy that's like, yo, you know, once, you know, we do our thing with them, you know, we lose respect for them. And the only way we know we like them is we, you know, really keep that respect. And see, that's kind of what, you know, I've talked about. And honestly, I've even said some of those things on this channel. But the main issue that I have with, like I say, some of this, especially like that last video, is that, you know, you have this man, he's sitting on the outside looking in because he's saying he's a gay black man, and he's looking in and he's saying that a lot of black men don't respect black women. But then I'm also saying again, which black men are you dealing with? Which black men are you using as your sample set? See, back in school, you were supposed to learn about the scientific method, right? The scientific method. And so the concept of the scientific method is that you look at a certain set of variables and you watch the entities within these variables, and then you come up with a conclusion based off of your findings. But a lot of times you have to kind of sway information based upon things that you even know about said set. So how does this work? You could actually come up with a set that says all black women want to have money, want to, you know, live luxurious lifestyles. In fact, that's one of the narratives that we get preached a lot. Why? Because you can go into a lot of the cities where a lot of black women are doing big things. And because these women are, you know, are out and they're easy to see, then you can actually come up with that conclusion. After studying these women, after watching these women and everything that they're doing, you can easily say, well, no, black women want this. But as I talk about on this channel, there are a lot of black women that are introverted. There are a lot of black women that are in spaces that don't get a lot of visibility. And those black women are not being seen. So therefore, whoever's coming up with this method of watching the women never includes them in their sample group. Instead, they include the easy to see people. And again, this goes back to what I'm always, explaining to you guys. It's all about who's in your bubble, what you see in your bubble, and how much you peep into other people's bubbles. Like with me, when I get, because like I said, we have a lot of people here from different places all around the world, actually. And, here in Atlanta. And so when I talk to New Yorkers, I literally listen to them about, they grew up there. They'll tell me a lot about New York. And then they'll say, we used to do this and we used to do that. And, me and my boys on the block, we would do X, Y, Z. And then I run into people from Texas and they would say, oh, over in Texas, we do blah, blah, blah. And then people in California would say, hey, we do blah, blah, blah. And like for me, I've been in the South most of my life. And so while I don't know about every single city, I can't talk about every single city. I can talk about a little bit more about how Southerners actually move and groove, right? And even though we're all black people, we're all looking at things totally differently. And then when we put in the socioeconomic factors, which I find that a lot of black people do not like to talk about. In fact, what I find is that there's really two groups that people kind of put themselves in. Like when people say successful black people, they're generally talking about the middle to upper class black people, right? And then those black people generally are not really fully directly associating themselves with the regular black people, okay, who are also around here. And then the regular black people, because there's so many of them, they believe that there's nothing else beyond their group. And when they see somebody like me, they think, oh, well, he's just weird. He's just an anomaly. He's not normal. And so it creates this narrative where everybody can say whatever they want to say based off the very limited knowledge that they have because they're looking at said group. Does this make sense? Is this getting to you? So when you look at things like this, there are plenty of black men who love black women, and there are plenty of black women who love black men. But what I'm always saying, and I've said this over and over again, always go to the people who like you. It still boggles my mind how many people spend time with people that don't like them. And I find that women actually do this the most. I think it goes back to, again, we've talked about this a little bit before when we talk about women's sexual nature. And one of the issues with a lot of women is that they kind of see the world in a fantasy, emotional type of way, right? And so a lot of women is like, they don't even see a man until that man emotionally does something, to kind of get their emotions stirred up a little bit. Until then, the guy just kind of fades into the background. They don't really pay attention to this. And for the women that are new to my channel, I explain this by, women going into something like a mall, spending 2 hours in the mall. And then when they come out, there might have been 2,000, 3,000 people in that mall that particular day. And then if you ask them and you say, hey, did you see any men inside of the mall? And what most of the women, will probably respond is, I saw the very attractive men, basically that they were sexually attracted to. They saw the men that were creepy or weird. They saw the men that, might have had some kind of ailment, a handicap, something like that. Or they saw the men that they directly interacted with, i.e., somebody maybe that was behind the counter. But the man that literally walked past them, the man that was sitting down at the food court, they did not see him. And there might have been literally out of that 2,500 people or so in the mall, there might have been 750 to 1,000 men. But women don't really see them because there's no emotional connection. Does this make sense now? So what happens to a lot of women is that they end up being hyper focused in on one man or two men or whatever man that they like. And because of this, when they're going after those men, those men might feel a little bit of that weight. And then there's a different type of relationship there versus a man that is trying to get with a woman. So a lot of these guys, especially the guys that are using these women, these men are in places or in situations where they're running into women that are hyper focused on them, where they themselves are the literal fantasy of said woman. And because of that, there's no emotional connection from the man back to the woman. And so there's nothing going back. It's only coming in one way. And if the woman moves too fast and different things like that, now she ends up in a situation where she feels used. Because there was never, like the first guy was saying, there was never a connection where the man started to love her. It was just a connection where she was infatuated with him. But see, the truth is men can do this as well. We see this every once in a while where, a man, again, will find a woman. He's very focused in on that woman. He really wants to be with that woman. And then he basically does everything in his power to get to that woman. So women would say they're being pursued. All right. And again, we have to redefine this whole concept of pursuit, because some women will consider a man pursuing them if the man just does things like returns phone calls or actually says good morning every morning. But then other women see pursuit as this man continuously, maybe for 2-3 weeks, maybe even for 2 or 3 months, constantly coming, saying things, doing things in order to get the woman's attention. And see, all of these things is just, again, it's how you are viewing your particular situation in your particular bubble. But let's get back, again, to the original issue. You have a guy and he's basically saying that men don't respect women. Men don't like women. And then you have the other lady that's pointing up saying straight men don't like them. But again, I would have to say, which men are you talking about? See, one of the things that Helena, I use her a lot, in a lot of my videos, and she actually brought it up, but it was actually from OkCupid. But I like the fact that she agreed with it and just walked with it. And a lot of times I do like to find women that actually say certain facts. So when the women that watch me recognize I'm just not coming out of something, I'm actually saying things that other women are actually agreeing with. And so you have this concept that 80% of women are chasing 20% of men, or they like 20% of men, or they want to date 20% of men. And why is this important? Again, for everything that I've talked about, you have women that are living kind of in their fantasy. You have men that are in that 20% and they know they're in that 20%. And if they're not marriage worthy men, they don't really care about the women that are chasing them, that are trying to pursue them, that are trying to get with them. So you have these situations where women might say, hey, men don't like us. But what's really happening is that woman is going after, she's pursuing, she wants to talk to one of the 20%. And then that 20% doesn't want to talk back to her. And instead of her recognizing that there's this other 80% of men, she just acts like those men don't exist. And therefore she can stay in her bubble and continue to believe the way she wants to believe. And see, men do, like I say, men do the same thing. They don't do it to a degree, to such a degree that women generally do it, but they do it. Now, in order for the men that are watching, because some men, it's very quick and easy for them to say, well, see, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this dude, he preaching facts right here. Facts right here. Okay, so you can have that attitude, which is fine. But I would actually encourage you as a man to become a part of the 20% of the men that women chase, or they pursue, or they like. So how do you do that? How do you do that? And that's one of the things that I talk about all the time. So you'll see this video. I would actually encourage you to go check out that video. I know it says for women, but it actually at the bottom, really small, says for men too. Because what you need to understand is that you, the guy that's watching me right now, you are very attractive. Okay. And this is not no homo type stuff. And recognize I can't see you. Dude, I can't see you. This is not some kind of magic. I'm videotaping myself, so I don't see you. In fact, I see me, and I'm very attractive. No, but serious. I mean, everybody is attractive. Okay. The reason why you don't feel like you are is simply because you're not glowing yourself up. You're not dressing yourself up. You're not styling yourself. You're not grooming yourself, whatever term you want to use. You're not putting the outside shellac on the inside wisdom and understanding. There was a guy recently at CSC, and I know he watches some of my videos, so he actually might watch this one. He actually came to one of our events, and he had actually bought him some new clothes, some new shirts, and different things like that. And like everybody was like, "Yo, man, you look good, you look good, you look good." And all the women were even saying it too. They was like, "Look at him, look at him." And the whole night, he was just walking around with a big smile on his face, because of all the attention. But the point was still the same. It is as soon as he changed just a little bit on the outside, he started to get attention. And see, that's one of the things that a lot of guys, like I say, many times don't want to do. They don't want to do any of the outside stuff. They want just for the women to kind of accept them as they are. But if we're honest as men, we don't accept women as they are. See, women will say real quick, "Oh, I accept you, I accept you." No, they don't. No, they don't. And don't ever listen to that garbage. I've learned, I kind of hate to say this, but I've learned that women really give really bad advice to men. I mean, I could do, like I say, video after video after video where women are trying to give men advice about what to do in order to get women. And I guarantee you it's not going to work. It's not even going to work for them. Even the woman that gave you the advice, it ain't even going to work for her. But again, I could go into that. But I won't now. But when a man looks at a woman, he is looking at her style. He is looking at her hair. He is looking at her skin. He is looking at her nails. He is looking at every single way in which she put herself together. And like I said, with men, same thing with women, most women are attractive. So if a woman puts herself together, she's going to get attention. And most women know this. Most women really know this because they've kind of had attention since they were 13 years old. So they kind of know, hey, if I put on this dress, everybody's going to be looking at me. But if I put on this other thing, it won't take me that much time, but I ain't going to get no attention. So most women know this. And a lot of men, we don't know this because we haven't really been taught. Now, some men have been taught. Okay. And the men that have been taught generally get all the attention. And the men that haven't been taught are sitting in the corner like, dang, everybody getting his attention but me. All these women don't want to talk to me. And so that is really the big thing. So what I would encourage, the men out there watching, like I said, if you have some women that have put you in the friend zone or you put them in the friend zone, use those women, call them up, be like, yo, do you like this shirt? Do you like these pants? Do you like this style? See if they'll come to the mall with you. I actually had one of my friends, I called her up. She's actually engaged. She's about to marry somebody. So 100% she in the friend zone. So I called her up. I was like, yo, I want to check out some stuff. I mean, do you mind meeting me at the mall? And she was like, yeah, I don't have nothing to do. So Saturday morning, like 11 o'clock, this was like 2 years ago, but like 11 o'clock, she meets me at the mall. We go to like 2 stores. She showed, I show her a couple of the clothes I was looking at. And then we go and we smell a lot of colognes. I mean, I probably have sprayed about every part of my body with these colognes trying to find one that works. And she, picked out 2 of them for me, and I bought them right then. And so that's the point that I'm trying to make. You have to lean in. Don't ever look at anything as though it's a problem. And see, that's another thing that people have is that the woman that you want to date, she don't want to date you. And now you like, dang, man, why is it always happening? Why is it always happening? But see, what you don't get is that if that's the woman you want to date, but she's willing to spend time with you, even though she don't want to date you, even though she might have a man, you can still use what she can teach you in order to get another woman like her. See, that's the thing that you all have to, remember. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Zodiac or, anything like that, but I just know a lot of people know about Zodiac. And when you start to talk about the 12 personalities of Zodiac, or you talk about the fact that even Zodiac, knocks it into air types, fire types, water types, and earth types. And so when you start to see things like that, what you're quickly seeing is that people kind of aren't really as unique as what you think they are. In fact, there's even apps that are like Find My Double, which means you can load up a picture and this app will go out for everybody that's already loaded up a picture. They'll try to find somebody who looks like you. And what's real interesting, if you actually look through a lot of this stuff, some of the people look like twins. They seriously look like twins. In fact, there was 2 women that they found that looked so much like twins, they had made national news. And when they did their DNA, they found out they weren't related at all. They had no relation. So the point I'm trying to make here is you're not as unique as you think you are. And the person that you're trying to get to isn't as unique as you think they are. There's probably somebody like them that looks like them around their same age somewhere else in the world. So if that person is teaching you how to get somebody like them, you should listen. And you should use that blessing and not see it as a curse to better yourself, to get to better people. Remember, we're on this channel, I'm about marriage. All right. So I'm trying to give you these hints so you can find your person. And like I said, women can do the same thing. So what? The guy don't like you? Fine. Find out what you could be doing better to attract a man like him, so that when you come into that again, you'll have it. Like I've already had in my life about 5 or 6 different women that I've never known come up to me and be like, you look just like so-and-so. You look just like so-and-so. Are you so-and-so? I mean, seriously, they've literally thought I was some other dude. And that's the whole point. The whole point is there's other people out there that you can get to. So anyway, please like, please subscribe, and I'm going to see you all in the very next video.